Day internet people, it's Jess here and I've got my deck profile here for Angel Feather. First of all, I'll say I'm using my new phone camera for this video instead of our little handy cam thing that we've been using for 6 years or 7 years or whatever it is now. So I'm going to show you the cards and we'll have a little look at the deck. So starter, obviously, First Aid Celestial Pennuel, the only option that you've got. Standard starter, when read upon, draw a card. That's what it says on the tin. Then we run 1, 2, 3, 4 of Critical Hit Angel and 4 Hotshot Celestial Samyaza. So that's 8 critical triggers. Basically, you just want to pressure the opponent as much as you can with this deck. 4 draw PGs, because it's obvious why you would run these. And 4 heal triggers, because of course. So yeah, you need to run those. It's only a shame she's not a recyclable one like the old version of Sunny Smile Angel, but no one gets fancy triggers in standard, so if it was premium, then absolutely run the classic one that you can cycle through. Onto the Grade 1 lineup. I run 3 of Marking Celestial Bucky. She's pretty good. When placed from the hand on the rear guard, you can discard a card from your hand, put a card from your damage zone into your hand, and put the top card of your deck into your damage zone face down. So you can ditch a useless card, pick up something useful, and then you just replace it with something face down. Putting the thing in face down hurts a little bit sometimes, but then you can heal quite easily with this deck, so not necessarily a massive deal. And if there's something you really need, say there's a perf in there, or you want to get rid of a perf if you're against an Excel and get some more useful shield, then you can do that too. So she's quite a versatile card, and it can sometimes just mean that you get yourself something that you really need. Speaking of cards that get you what you really need, Underlay Celestial Raguel. She's kind of like the Grade 1, most important Grade 1, I would say. When placed from the hand, you counterblast 1, swap a unit card from your hand with a card from the damage zone, and you put the card in face up. So obviously what you want to do is counterblast the card that you want to take out of the damage zone, because it doesn't say you have to take a face up card. So let's say you wanted that perfect guard or that 20k shield that's just sitting there in the damage zone. You play this down, you counterblast that card, take it out, and ideally you're going to put in something like a Raguel, your VR, into the damage zone for reasons which, if they're not already obvious, they will become obvious. So yeah, 4 of her. She's pretty essential. Then I run 3 of 1000 Ray Pegasus. Great little booster. So this guy is, when it boosts, if a new card has been put into your damage zone during the turn, you can counterblast 1, and this unit gets plus 10 until the end of turn. So it's an easy 8k boost as long as you've done a damage switch this turn, basically, or taken a damage. So can't really go too far wrong with that card. 18k boost's always pretty welcome. There's not many cards that can boost that much in standard, I don't think. And it'll be very useful when you're trying to close a game down. Rest of the Grade 1 lineup, I run a couple of these Syringe Lesser. Firstly, I run it because it's an adorable red panda, and let's face it, you can't argue with adorable red pandas. Yeah, I couldn't really resist, and it's got a useful skill as well. You can put it into the soul, and 2 of your units get plus 5 until the end of turn. Now, my usage for these is generally to boost up 1 column, front and back row, when I'm trying to push for game with that big column, so that 18k booster becomes a 23k booster in front of, or behind, the game-ending unit, the Feather Hospital, which we will come to, obviously. Grade 2s, 4 of Million Ray Pegasus. Pretty essential, really, this card. So on the rear guard and the Guardian Circle, if you've taken a damage this turn, this unit gets plus 5,000 power and plus 5,000 shield. So if you take a damage and this guy's on your Vanguard Circle, it's sitting at a 14k defense, can really hurt the Excel clan's early rush if they're coming at you and you're sitting on 14. If you get a trigger, he's sitting on 24, and that is an amazing way to stop them getting all that early damage in on you. Also, you can guard with it if you've taken a damage, and it'll intercept for 10, or you can just guard from the hand for 10. And yeah, it swings for 14 on a turn that you've kind of taken a damage in your own turn. So fantastic little usage to that card. I don't know if it's better necessarily than the original one, which just got +2 every time you took a damage, regardless of when it was. But yeah, it's probably more reliable on a game-by-game basis. And then we run 4 of Rear Impetus Celestial R-Matey. I call him R-Matey because he's a pirate. R-Matey. He's not a pirate at all. That'd be Grand Blue, wouldn't it? However, this guy is pretty useful. He's kind of like your ideal first ride, at least assuming you've got something in a damage zone that's worth calling out. Because when placed from the hand, you can Soul Blast 1, call a card from the damage zone to the rear guard, and put the top card of your deck into your damage zone face down. So, yeah, if you've got something really useful in there, or that Feather Palace is sitting in the hospital late game, in the damage zone, late game, you can kind of just do this, pop that Feather Palace onto the rear guard where you need it, and there it is, good to go. So, yep, very, very good. And rounding out the grade 2 lineup, I run 3 Wild Shot Celestial Raguel. So she is also pretty good. Her prerequisite is that you have to have already done a kind of damage takey thing in that turn. But as long as you've done so, when she's placed, you can counterblast 1 to call a card from your drop zone to the rear guard. This is a very useful card because it means that some of your other cards you can run at a smaller quantity if you need to, and you can still get them back onto the field. So things like your 1000 Ray Pegasus and your Hospital, you can kind of just swing them back onto the field from the drop zone. So as long as they've not been binded by something, say Narukami, then there's not a lot they can do to stop you getting them back, which is pretty nice. Onto the grade 3s. I'll start with the most obvious inclusion. 1, 2, 3, 4. Solidify Celestial Raguel. She's your VR for the clan. So her continuous skill, it's mildly useless, but useful nonetheless, if that makes sense. It's not going to set the world on fire. It gives you front row plus 3,000 as long as you put a new card into your damage zone this turn. So again, not amazing necessarily, but it turns your 14k grade 2 Pegasus into a 17, which means it's hitting Excel and Protect clans for that kind of minimum number that you really want to be swinging for. And yeah, it just means things can actually hit. They're not just poking without doing any damage. So there is that. Her main usage, though, is her second skill on the activated damage zone. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, that part's important. And this card is face up. You can put the top card of your deck into your damage zone face down and ride this card as stand. So it means that if you've already ridden for the turn, you can get yourself that first protect marker when that first one's placed, and then you can kind of ride again from the damage zone with another one of these. And you can get yourself multiple protect markers within a turn, which is always nice. Plus, you're filling the soul with grade 3s quickly when you use her skill. The quicker you can get grade 3s into the soul, the quicker you can push with the next guy. And when I say the next guy, I mean this guy. This is your game ender. This is Mobile Hospital Feather Palace. So, auto Vanguard Rearguard, when it attacks, Soul Blast 2 grade 3s, hence filling the soul up with them as quickly as you can. Face down all of the cards in your damage zone. That is part of the effect, not part of the cost, so you can still do this even if you've got no face-up damage. And until the end of the battle, this unit gets plus 20,000, crit plus 1, and your opponent cannot call Sentinels to Guardian from the hand. So again, the ideal attack column for this is you have him there, you have your grade 1 Pegasus behind boosting for 18. If you've got the red panda, you can boost that and that by 5 again. This guy gets another 20. So you've got 20k plus 20 plus 10 plus another 10. You're going to be hitting quite hard, and they can't use Sentinels. So assuming they've got a massive hand, they might be able to guard, but you're going to rinse a lot of cards out of them. So even if they survive it, you've hurt them pretty bad with that. And finally, we've got this Crimson Impact Metatron mild avatar from back in the day. So Metatron is awesome. She's got 2 abilities. Her first ability is Auto Vanguard. When ridden from a grade 3, you can counterblast 2, call a card from your damage zone to the rear guard, and this unit gets plus 15k until the end of turn. Basically a free heal, so you can't say no to a heal. So you obviously heal one of the things you just counterblasted, unless you've got other things that you'd rather call. And her other skill on the activated ability: once per turn, put a card from your damage zone onto the bottom of your deck and deal this unit 1 damage. Very nice indeed. You can put something to the bottom of the deck that you don't particularly need in the damage zone, take a damage, and if you're lucky and it's a trigger, the trigger will go off. So you might get lucky and get a critical trigger, so give her another 10k and a crit, so she'd be on plus 25, swinging for 37 and a crit unboosted at that point. She is very good, and it does kind of depend on what you get, but at the very worst, what you've ended up with is healing 1 and swapping a thing, so you haven't ended up using any counterblast, and it's just pretty fun. So there you go. That's Metatron, and that's my Angel Feather deck. Sorry about the weird cut. I only just found out that my camera has a 10-minute recording limit on videos. I didn't know it had that, so yeah. Thanks for watching this little deck profile. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you found it useful, and post your comments down below if you've got any suggestions. If you think there's something I should be running, which I'm not, yeah, let me know, and I'll read all the comments and get back to you in the replies and all that stuff. Let me know if you like the video quality on this phone. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can use it for battle videos, if it's going to cut out every 10 minutes, unless I can find a way to extend that limit. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!
Kamui here. Thanks for watching Draw the Trigger. Here's another video you might enjoy.